Good morning and welcome. Happy Good Friday. Joe and Jason wrapping up the week. It is Good Friday. The markets are closed today. The gold markets are closed. The stock markets are closed. The banks are closed. Obviously, Easter is upon us. I hope everyone has a fantastic Easter weekend. What a crazy, you know what? Probably coming at the right time. It has been absolute craziness in the world, and you know, whether it be what's going on with tariffs, what's going on with war, what's going on economically, with politically. I mean, you name it. We've had it. And I'm going to do something a little different. So normally we don't open the phone lines, the text lines on the Patriot show because there's just so much going on and trying to get the information out. We just don't have a lot of time to do that. So I'm going to have the call and text line open. If you guys got questions that you would like to ask, or you can text it in, you can call it in, and Jason and I will do our best to answer those. 877-536-1360, and it can be whatever, you know. Maybe you have questions about gold. Maybe you never bought gold before. Maybe you want to address some things that maybe we haven't talked about. Maybe you have a question about the bond market or the stock market or tariffs, whatever you think is there. This will be the day that will allow you to do that. So if you want to call or text in, and like I said, it can be about gold. Maybe it's about IRAs. It can be what we think about tariffs or, you know, Donald Trump. Now, you know, yesterday we talked about it a little bit, kind of took a shot at Jay Powell. And then as the day went on, it actually got worse. Donald Trump's saying about Jay Powell. So there's a question. Can the president fire the head of the Federal Reserve? Most people would say no, that isn't allowed. I don't know. I don't know why you couldn't, right? If they're doing a bad job, get rid of them, of course. But this just kind of tells you, right, that the realities are the Federal Reserve, the bankers are in control here. I'll say this. Listen, Donald Trump reappointed Jay Powell. Let's not forget that. He had a chance to pick somebody else, and he didn't. Jay Powell's term runs through he's got about another year left. His term ends in 2026. The question's going to be, is he going to wait this long? Him and Jay Powell now are starting to have a war of words. He wants the Fed to cut rates. The Fed is kind of pushing back and saying, hey, we can't cut rates because you put the tariffs on, and we know inflation's going to pick up, so don't yell at me. It's your fault. And, oh, by the way, all this crazy spending, you know, what's so funny is the Fed, you know, we don't talk about the government stuff. We stay in our lane. Well, Jay Powell stepped out of the lane and said, hey, all this cuts for discretionary, that's not going to do it. That's not going to be enough. We can't cut rates because you guys aren't addressing the issues. Donald Trump, if I want him out, he'll be out of there real fast. Oh, no. Believe me. That was a direct quote from Donald Trump later in the day when reporters were asking questions. And I'll say it again, if I want him out, he'll be out of there real fast. Believe me, Jason.
Well, that's the opposite of what Jay Powell said. I heard some of that stuff going on. And, well, I guess we're going to see who's got the authority, right? I've been hearing the rhetoric coming from the regular news now, the regular, the squawk box about, oh, we need to get rid of the Fed. We're going to get rid of the Fed. Years ago, when I first started doing radio, and I hate central banks, I know that it's the scourge, right? Be careful who you get excited about and the verbiage you get excited about, because usually what you'll hear, Joe, this is what you don't want to hear. You want to hear, let's get rid of the Fed, but you don't want to hear at the back end of that, and we're going to replace it with. That is not getting rid of the Fed. The bankers own all of the central banks across this planet. Don't fall into the hole. Because think about it, Joe. All these people that hate central banks, and we hate the Fed, end the Fed, right? You end the Fed and replace it with the IMF. Well, it's an international monetary fund. They'll be level-headed and they'll make good decisions. They won't pick favorites. All that stuff they'll say about how great a replacement will be, and it'll just be just as bad, Joe. So be careful about those end the Fed stuff, because I want to end the Fed too. I want to end central banking completely from this country. So be careful. This might be one of those tricks, Joe, right? We're going to end the Fed. I could see it happen. Trump's the hero. He ends the Fed and then gives us the IMF. And, not so good, right?
Be careful what you wish for. You just may get it. We'll be back. 800-951-0592. That is our call. The Patriot line. That's Patriot's number if you want to call or text into the show, which is something we just don't do we do it on the Half Empty Cup. We don't do it on Patriot. Since the markets are all closed today, the gold markets are closed, the stock markets are closed, the bond markets are closed. If you have a question you would like us to address, you can call in or text 877-536-1360, and Jason and I can answer them. Someone wanted to know the best robotic gold vacuuming and related machinery, like going in and you know what? Here's what I don't know this. I do know that I've seen lots of people try to invent robotics, especially underwater, right, to vacuum up gold. And I haven't seen anything work real well. The hard part is, gold's hard to find, right? So you got to almost be able to have eyes to be able to see the trail and all of that. But, I don't know, Jason. You would think maybe that'll be coming, right? You see those shows on TV with the gold dredge guys and all that stuff. Being able to get a robot to go down and do it for you, that would be pretty cool. But I haven't really seen that technology doesn't appear to be very close. You would think if it was, the gold miners themselves would probably be the ones that would use it. It seems like no matter what with gold, there's going to be manual labor involved.
Well, I'm guessing some technology exists that could really pull the gold out really good. Why do I get the feeling the machine costs too large of an amount, and then the machine also is going to need someone always fixing it and making it work right, and servicing it. So between the guy that has to service or fix the machine, the parts for the machine, and the cost of getting the machine up front, my guess is it's just not it's not worth the bite right now. I'll bet they have the machines, Joe. But I've seen a lot of machines do it, and I've seen a lot of people do a lot of things to get gold out of the river and gold out of the ground. My guess is the machines exist; they're too expensive. And with machines, though, that eventually someone gets it right, someone gets it cheaper. Kind of like of like the Chinese when they improved AI across the planet, and they did it for 1/10 the price or whatever it was, 1/100th the price. Remember that? This whole trade war. Be careful how much you think America is going to blow away China on a trade war when they come up with an AI that's 1/100th the cost of what American companies are doing, and it's probably why companies like NVIDIA are suddenly visiting China, Joe.
Yeah, that was really telling. When for those of you that weren't aware, yesterday NVIDIA CEO was in China and essentially singing the praises, saying, "Hey, we started in China, and we want to have a long-lasting relationship." With the Chinese. And then, of course, yesterday, a bunch of little things happening again on the trade side of things, just to kind of bring everybody up to speed. So Temu and Shine, they are very, if you're into online shopping, which I'm not, you know who these guys are. You know who Temu is. You know who Shine is. They are huge advertisers especially with Google and Facebook, Meta. They just announced drastic cuts to U.S. advertising. Of course, most of their stuff comes out of China, and so this is another thing, right? You kind of see how this is going to play out, right? There's a lot of parts to this trade war. And then another thing, the Trump administration yesterday announced that they're going to now charge fees for Chinese ships docking at U.S. ports. So, Jason, this is another, right? Here's another cost to the stuff coming out of China on top of the tariffs. And then, not to be outdone, China, let's face it, China said, hey, if that's going to be the case, they're now saying that they're halting all shipments of liquefied natural gas from the United States. So, Jason, this thing keeps growing. We didn't get the 250% tariff thing, at least not yet. But now the United States and China continuing this escalation in trade. It's going to be, again, the effects are coming. And I think this is why Donald Trump wanted Jay Powell and the Fed to start cutting rates, because he wants to soften the blow of what we all anticipate will be an economy that slows, right? China and you got the two biggest GDPs in the world, and it's not close, right? That's the thing. China and the United States, these are the heavyweights. Jason, it's going to have an effect. There's just no way around it.
Both these economies were having trouble going into this year anyways. So once again, things are going to happen, and how much can you blame on specifically tariffs? How much can you specifically blame on China blowing back with their own tariffs? Joe, the last few years, look at you have to go back and you have to think all those pictures of China blowing apart these huge apartment buildings, brand new, never lived in, because their property. Remember the property, Joe? China figured out how to keep their property prices up, didn't they? They took out all the buildings that were empty and were never going to be lived in.
Tear them down. Just tear them down.
Because they knew that this is the Chinese government, a little less free than than America, and they have problems. They had a huge problem brewing, and they'll do extreme things to fix it. But China is connected to America. At least China said one thing that I think was the most honest statement during all this tariff stuff, which is, look, the tariffs are going to hurt both sides. Trump doesn't want to admit it. He doesn't want to say it because he knows it's very unpopular to say, hey, by the way, when I do all this tariff stuff, it's going to hurt Americans. He's not going to say it. He doesn't want to say it. That's not how an American politician keep support by saying I'm going to do stuff that's destructive to American citizens, but it's going to be, and China just admitted is like. And here's the thing: what can Trump do? What can the Fed do? Well, the Fed's going to do whatever protects them and their rich backers, right? That they're going to end up being in the right position at the right time. They're going to sell at the right time. They're going to buy at the right time. They don't really care what happens to China or the United States and the citizens of these countries. And Trump Trump is playing. He's the president. The president has to play the part of the loser, really, right, Joe? I mean, when does the president really play the part of the heroic winner? When's the last time we had a president that we're like, yeah, everybody's like, yeah, that guy's great, right? I think it's John F. Kennedy. And since then, we've had guys that everyone's mad at it, or one half the country hates, right, Joe? And one half the country blindly follows because, well, he's better than the alternative, right? And that's what we got with Trump. Trump is playing a part where you cannot win as president. You can't. That's just the way the system's built.
What's the saying? What, a house divided cannot stand.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And that's what we really have going on here. Another texter texted in again, something a little different today. If you have any questions, all the markets are closed. We'll address them. I like this one. So if you have a satchel, I love this, a satchel. But here's what he said. Hey, if I've got a lot of metal, that's gold. I got a lot of gold. I got a lot of silver. I don't know. Maybe you got rhodium or something like that. And it's sure to go up, way up in value almost constantly. Why would he sell any? And again, I think what we're seeing here is the majority of the sellers so far are selling out of need. But, Jason, I'll say this. I'll never fault anybody for taking a profit, ever, right? If somebody may see an opportunity that others don't see, right? So if you're out there, hey, maybe I'm going to start a business. Maybe I'm going to, I don't know. I actually had a guy call yesterday, was thinking about selling some gold to buy stocks.
That's one of the best ways to sell gold. I was going to say that very likely in the next weeks or months, I'm going to have a crypto that I might think is a good one. There might, Joe knows that in 2024, I was looking very seriously at this stuff. If you sell your gold and silver because you have an investment, investment carries risk. Gold and silver, in my mind, doesn't carry risk. It's savings. It's protected savings. It's shown that it is protected savings for hundreds and hundreds of years. So why, Joe, I love that. I love talking about this because why sell? Well, number one, Joe's right. Need. Hey, we had a horrible hailstorm and I don't have the bread to cover the deductible. I have a $5,000 deductible on the roof. Hey, sell 2 ounces of gold. You got your deductible, right? Number two reason, you want the money for something else, and investment being probably the best one. Hey, I want to buy a house. Let's drop some gold over to Patriot. Let's sell the gold. Let's go get the down payment for the house. Hey, I want to put it in some sort of retirement fund that's going to earn me a certain amount of interest, right? Investment. If we had several people, it's like, hey, I want to buy cryptos. Here's the gold. They sold the gold to us, and they went and bought cryptos. Just be careful. Obviously, investment is risk. Know that if you shed several ounces of gold, if your investment goes the wrong way, make sure that you still have plenty of ounces of gold to get past that bad bet, right, Joe? But it's great. That's what gold is. Gold is savings. Savings is just future spending, Joe, right? It's just future spending. It's future spending for when you need it. Many people that buy gold and silver from us, they do hold it, and they'll hold it all the way till they're dead. Why do that? Well, because you want to give your kids and grandkids a little bit of help on your way out the door. So there's lots of reasons to keep it. And the best thing to do, Joe, is you have tons of income coming in. You just keep stacking gold. You never have to sell it. But not everybody has got Elon Musk clout when it comes to income.
Yeah, and we have a lot now. Like we said, we've been here a long, long time. We have a bunch of clients now that use that to supplement Social Security.
Yep.
We have a regular customer. It's like it's a $20 gold piece a month. Well, now guess what? Now it's a $20 gold piece every 2 months, right? Because gold's gone up so much. But that's all of those things. So it's a great point, right? And I think that everyone has different reasons, right, for doing what they do. But look, we always talk about buying it. We never really talk about selling all that much. But it's a big part, right, Jason? People buy and sell. We buy and sell all the time.
Yeah, we it's slowed down, I guess, on my end. I think Joe's seen a little less. The selling slowed a little bit, but end of 2023, all of 2024, just tons and tons and tons of selling. And I always get the guy comes in, oh, I feel so bad. I don't want to be selling this. It's like, I said, well, just think about the guy that's putting the thing that you're paying with your gold. Think about the guy that's putting it on his credit card. Now tell me how guilty you feel. You should be patting yourself on the back that you don't have to load up a credit card for this unforeseen minor emergency that just hits you, right, Joe? So that's, nothing like having to pay a little interest on some unforeseen expense that just popped up, right, Joe?
Yeah, exactly. So 877-536-1360, the call or text line, a rarity. We're back here. Patriot Trading Group, Joe and Jason. It is Good Friday. The stock market, the gold markets, the bond markets, all the markets are closed today. So we've decided to open up the call and text line from the radio station for the Gold Show. So if you have any questions or comments, you can call or text 877-536-1360 for those of you that don't know. Golf is gold and gold is golf, right? Yeah, I'm a big golfer. Matter of fact, I'm going golfing today and tomorrow. And my wife and I are going to golf a little bit on Easter Sunday. So,
well, it's snowing here today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Whoops, sorry about that. It's
well, it's April. We get a little bit of that spring snow, so it's not surprising. Every time people think it's we're breaking into warmer weather, every year you get that April snow that comes in and reminds everybody it's not quite done.
Jason, we have a caller that's called in. Let's get to the callers.
Yep, Little John, thanks for coming in. Go ahead, you're up.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. I'm mostly just calling in because it's such a rare opportunity for the Patriot Radio News Hour. But, Joe, I just wanted to say with the craziness, with the tariffs and everything, I've been listening to your show, this show, more and more. Really appreciate all your information and your insight into all of it. And also, too, you've mentioned over the last couple of weeks some frustration, like people should really be buying now. All the signals are buy. But I was kind of wondering, so I haven't been buying because my budget has been tight because everything else is expensive. I've been able to manage to hold on to what I've bought in the past, but I'm kind of wondering if there might be other people in my circumstances, similar situations.
I'm going to say that I think a lot of people are in that situation where, economically, it's not feasible because, not just the pricing, everything's gotten more expensive, right? The household budget has grown, right? The expenses on the household budget. All of a sudden, that extra cash that I was used to having every month, I no longer have that anymore. And it's created a situation where I think that's where a lot of people are. You have to be, one of the fortunate ones out there, really, Jason, right? Hey, if you were able to do it You need to get it done. And we talk a lot about diversity. And this is why I talk a lot about IRAs lately, because for most people, if they have that money, it's in a 401k or an IRA. Unfortunately, the way the laws are written, you can't really do anything with your 401k. You're kind of stuck. Whatever your company offers, that's what you got to have. But being a little more diversified for those of you that are older, maybe you left jobs, 2 or 3 jobs ago, taking some of it, don't take it all, but take some of that, put it into a gold and silver IRA. But yeah, Jason, I think that's really the thing, right? Well, not only is their budget stretched, but then they look at the price of gold. I mean, let's not lie here. The last 18 months, gold's doubled.
Let me add. So, and I've said this many times over the years, and I'm glad that Little John's coming in. So, John, I'm sure you've heard me say this. Think of the economy as the peanut butter jar.
Indeed.
Your family, Little John, versus the Rothschilds. That's really what this comes down to. Competition. Rockefeller said competition is a sin. They don't want your family competing with the Rockefellers. So they have constructed a system in which I call the peanut butter jar, which is when times are good, let's just say the last bunch of years, it wasn't really good, but let's just say after COVID sort of subsided, there was a short little bit of time, where those that own almost everything on this planet, they put the peanut butter in the jar. The jar was empty. Once the peanut butter's in the jar, everybody starts to make a little bit of money. People are, you do what you can. There's people that were investing during the inflation and crypto this and investment that. And we're in the middle. And John, your situation is very much what the smaller spenders are dealing with, which is the peanut butter jars. The peanut butter's been removed. You got Warren Buffett.
Yeah, there's no peanut butter left to scrape.
Let's be more specific, Joe. Elon Musk selling his stock. Jamie Dimon, for the first time, selling his stock. Warren Buffett selling his stock. They're pulling the peanut butter out of the jar. The markets still look like everything is there. Yeah, it's not. The peanut butter is being removed from the jar. All that stuff that's stuck to the side. Once you pull out, everyone knows the peanut butter. There's that stuff stuck to the side. Little John, what you're talking about is the spatula is coming in and it's clearing people out. John, if you get into a position where you have to spend it and you lose your gold and silver, or you have to sell a property so that you can make your finances make sense, that's the spatula cleaning you out. They don't want your family gaining, generational wealth to move your family forward. It's rigged against us. This is why I hate central banking. It is private companies, private interests controlling a government financially, taking control of their monetary system and leveraging it against us. Henry Ford said that if the average American understood the economic system, there would be a revolt by tomorrow morning. And he's right. He's one of the chosen. He's a part of the big club. He knows it. He figured it out. And so, Little John, I don't know if that adds to what you're feeling, and then some of the other listeners. But we're in the spatula cleaning people out. I've had so many customers that have had to sell it, and I don't feel bad for them. I do feel good that at least you have it. Imagine the people that don't have anything. They're in the worst position, John.
Yeah, totally. And you made me think of two things. You will own nothing and be happy. I don't know about the happy part, but they're working on the you'll own nothing, and that's scraping the peanut butter jar. And also, you made me think of there's only hard times or preparing for hard times. And I guess when you're personally having, not hard times, that's when you're buying your gold and silver. And that way you are prepared for the hard times.
Look, in the 1970s, what did the system tell everybody? What did they do with their controlled media? Hey, I can bring home the bacon and fry it up in a pan, right? And the woman's walking around and she's, right? Woman power. Get out there and work. Yeah. You're just as good as a man. No. That was to drag the family down and take control and mess up your family. The nuclear family, the mom staying at home, that's not allowed. John, thanks for the call. We got Mike on the other side. Mike, just hang tight. We'll put you on the air on the other side. Joe, it's the Patriot Radio News Hour taking calls today. We'll be back, right?
800-951-0592. If you do want to pick up some gold today, $10 Liberties. We're going to take them down here. They're $17.95. Take them down to $17.50 for a half ounce of gold. The $10 Liberty, minted by the U.S. Mint, 1866 to 1907 at 800-951-0592. Before we get to the caller, a couple more people texted in. I heard somewhere an ounce of gold is like a really nice new tailored suit or a cow. I've tested this. It is true. And we have said the cow thing's been around for a very long time. And then somebody, started, remember when, suits got real big, the Armani suits and the Italian suits. And let's face it, gold's $3,300. You can get a nice suit for $3,300. I mean, this isn't. I'm going to go to Dillard's and buy an off the rack suit. You go get a nice suit. Cows, we know about. Listen, we know about beef prices, and look at what's happening. Beef and gold. Maybe that's what we got to do.
Well, Joe, it's tailored men's suit. If you go back a couple hundred years, a tailored men's suit and an ounce of gold was the same. What we have in the modern age is we have manufactured men's suits. They're not really trying to make this fit you, right? So you have an actual tailor, someone who's going to make that suit, take the measurements, use good materials. That is how men's suits have been for a long, long time. That is about an ounce of gold for a really good one, and that has held true. Joe is exactly right. Modern conveniences have made the way of cheapening things, but you get what you pay for, Joe. And a tailored men's suit and a whole cow and an ounce of gold is showing you value. That is exactly what it is, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. 877-536-1360. We've only got, not very much time left here today. If you want to get a thought in, you can call or text. Let's go to Mike.
Mike, go ahead, man. You're up. What's going on?
Hey, thanks. I just wanted to say first that I really enjoy you guys' local broadcast. It's great to have a station like yours around here. I mean, it's so much better than all the national crap they got on nowadays. But my question is on the pricing of gold. This is something that drives a lot of my friends crazy. Let's say an ounce of gold is selling for $3,000. Why is it you have to pay $3,300 to buy it, and you only get like $2,900 if you sell it?
Great question. So this is something, and again, we are so uneducated. So Wall Street, right? You say, well, Apple stock is X, and I can buy it for that price, right? Apple stock's $100. And I can buy it from $100. Why can't I buy the physical gold like I buy a stock? So let me answer it in two ways. Number one, Apple stock at $100 is not really what that individual stock is worth. So there's a markup involved. They call it the PE ratio, right? And of course, a lot of these stocks trade at these huge multiples. But I get it. They conditioned you to do that when you're dealing with an actual physical commodity. This has to do with gold. Like gold. That's for gold in the ground right now. Hey, I'm going to make a delivery somewhere in the future, and I'm going to tell you I've got 10,000 ounces of gold in this hole, and I can give it to you, and let's just say March of 2026. The guy says, great, and I can buy that gold at the spot price, right, or whatever the contract price is. So you said $3,000. Great. I'm going to give you $3,000 for the 10,000 ounces. you need to deliver it to me in March, and whatever that price is, then hopefully it's more, right? Then I make out.
Yeah.
I'll use unleaded gas. That's probably the best. So when you go to the gas, and buy gas, okay, it works the same way. Wholesale unleaded gas right now on the stock market is $2.09. Now, Arizona gas prices suck here. So we pay $3.49. And you always, when you're dealing with the physical commodity, I think that's where people get frustrated because they really don't understand the spot price is for the commodity before it's ever been, pulled out of the ground or delivered. You got to mine it, you got to refine it, you've got to ship it, then it has to be sold. Then it gets put into coins or bars and then sold again. So there's a big process to get to that final price. But it's a great question because it does. That's probably the one thing that drives a lot of the people that are stock market guys a little crazy, Jason.
Yeah, Mike, and do you have anything to follow up? And then I'm going to give you a little extra of what Joe was saying.
I was just wondering then, why isn't there like two prices then, a selling price and a buying price?
There's always
that
a buying.
Make it so much easier.
With collectible coins and with bullion, they have what they call the gray sheet, the buy and sell price. It does exist, Mike. Look, I'm sure the same thing exists with new cars. When I go to buy a new car, there's a sticker price, and then I can try to haggle the car seller. But I'm going to add onto what Joe said. So, Mike, if you can just listen in on the other side of the break, because we have a short segment. But
sure.
But basically, everybody in the commodities through the supply chain has to pay that. But Joe and I have to pay. We have to pay a premium from where we get it, and the guy that we buy it from, they pay a premium to get it. I sold my house understanding gold and silver and being in this market. I sold my house to buy into Joe's company, knowing that there was an opportunity here based off of Joe's position in selling gold and silver, which is why I got a loan, gave Joe all my money.
800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason wrapping up this Good Friday. The markets are closed today. The Dow yesterday finished down 500 points. The S&P was up 7. The NASDAQ was down 20. On the gold side of things, gold did exactly what we were hoping it would do. Closed the big gap that it had when it shot up that 100 points the day before. Gold went all the way down to 32.80 and then closed at 33.29. So well above where it was on Wednesday, which is something that we hope to see. Now, of course, we got 3 days, and the way this market moves, Jason, who knows? I have no idea what we're going to see on Monday.
No, agreed, Joe. Agreed. I wanted to finish with what I was talking to Mike about gold and silver. I can't stress enough that if you, as an individual out there, have a good idea, any business that you like, that you have knowledge of, that you've worked, that you have experience with, all you need to do on the business side is learn how to do the buying and selling on that. I remember before I joined Patriot, Joe did a show. I like to use this as an example, and he talked about the biggest customer he had in Arizona at that time was a drywall guy. A drywall guy was buying more gold from Patriot than anybody else at the time. Drywall. This guy was a businessman. He learned how to buy and sell, create the business of giving houses drywall all over the Arizona area, and he made a whole lot of money. So it doesn't have to be gold and silver. I was already into gold and silver when it was Groundhog's Day 2018. He went on the air and said, "Hey, I'm looking for someone to physically run the office in Colorado." Patriot was on the radio here, but there was never a physical office. He saw sales dropping off in 2017. He was either going to shut it down or he was going to try to take a big stab at it. And I called with about the other 25 guys and Joe making a few choices of who he wanted to come on board. I was already selling gold and silver small time. I understood it. I was taking a lot of my spare time and energy watching the coin shows on TV and, buying from the local coin shops and the coin dealers. And I was selling it out the back of my car as a process server. So I was driving all over the Colorado area already. And so when someone would answer some of my ads, I would just meet up with them on the day that I was serving papers in their town. I would Greeley one day, Thornton the next day. And that's how I got, as soon as Joe, there was this opportunity, and there was all these other gold shows on the radio that were falling off at the time, and Patriot had been there. It was solid. But I was like, well, I took the risk. I didn't know Joe that well. I didn't know how healthy the company was, but it sure sounded to me like it was working. So this is where I invested. I took my risk. I sold my house and gave Joe most of the equity, and then a mere couple of months into this so-called part-time job, Joe and I figured out this was a full-time gig, so I gave him the rest of the equity. I had to pull out a loan, give Joe all of that to buy significantly into this company to make this a full-time thing. And, of course, then Joe had to buy the radio station. I had to learn how to program servers and and run a radio station, and on it went. And those are opportunities. Opportunities are all around you guys listening, and you've got to be ready for it. You got to take your life experience and make it work for you, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll try, you know what, man, we're getting so many texts now. We'll try to do this again. Person was asking about where do most people store their gold, mostly at their house. Gold is, you can hide it anywhere. Someone asked, does it get stolen and just not really reported? No, I mean, do you get robbed a lot? Probably not. Usually, though, when it does happen, it's a family member. Usually drugs are involved, and you've told that person where it is. That's usually how it happens. But all great questions. Jason, maybe we'll do this, I don't know, once a quarter or something. We'll open up the lines and let people call and text us.